Twice, you committed seriously to a full hour of exercise every single day. And twice, that commitment quietly collapsed within 2 weeks, buried under one bad night of sleep, or one unusually busy week at work, or simply one day you didn't feel like it. The third time, you committed instead to something almost embarrassingly small. Just putting on your shoes and stepping outside for 2 minutes. Nothing more required of you at all. That version stuck, quietly, for months on end, and eventually grew into something far bigger than 2 minutes ever was. The common instinct, especially at the very start of something new, is to go big right out of the gate, a full hour, a strict daily rule, an ambitious all-or-nothing commitment, all on the theory that a bigger, bolder goal shows more genuine seriousness and naturally produces bigger, more impressive results down the line. Starting small can even feel a little embarrassing in the moment, like you're not really committing to real change, or not taking the whole thing seriously enough for it to actually matter. Except the ambitious version is exactly the one that keeps failing, over and over again. For most people, right on the very first genuinely rough day, the very first missed morning, the very first ordinary week that gets unexpectedly busy or exhausting. If bigger, bolder commitments actually produced more consistent long-term follow-through, this exact same collapse pattern wouldn't keep repeating itself quite so reliably across so many different people, trying so many completely different habits, year after year. In 2010, researchers Phillippa Lally and colleagues tracked real people forming a brand new daily habit over a full 12 weeks, carefully measuring exactly how automatic each individual behavior became over that stretch of time. Every single behavior climbed toward automaticity along a broadly similar curve overall, but simpler, distinctly lower effort behaviors reliably reached that automatic, no longer feels like a struggle point noticeably faster and more consistently than complex, more demanding ones did. Missing an occasional day here or there, notably, didn't seriously derail the overall process either way, which itself is a useful, reassuring detail. Behavior scientist B.J. Fogg's model helps explain exactly why this happens. A behavior occurs when there's sufficient motivation, sufficient ability, and a prompt, all arriving at the same moment. Critically, when the ability required, meaning the actual effort or difficulty of the behavior itself, gets low enough, the behavior can still occur even on a genuinely low motivation day, which is precisely the kind of day that quietly kills most ambitious commitments before they ever get going. Shrinking the habit doesn't lower your real standards for yourself. It simply lowers the threshold your motivation actually has to clear on any given day. Worth being honest about on screen. The specific, catchy 2-minute rule you may have heard elsewhere has never itself been the subject of a controlled trial. It's a popular, practical extension built directly on top of real research Fogg's effort and ability model, and Lally's finding that simpler behaviors automate faster and more reliably. It's genuinely grounded in solid science. It just isn't, itself, a tested finding with its own dedicated study, and a good explainer says so plainly rather than implying otherwise. A habit doesn't collapse because you personally lack the willpower or the seriousness required to sustain it long term. It collapses because the version you originally attempted required more consistent effort than an ordinary bad day can realistically supply. And an ordinary bad day arrives far more often and far sooner than most people ever planned for when they set the goal. Shrinking the starting size isn't giving up on the bigger underlying goal at all. It's deliberately designing a version specifically built to survive the exact days that ambition alone never does. Take whatever habit you've already tried and failed to build, and shrink it until it feels almost silly to skip not 30 minutes of exercise, but putting on the shoes. Not reading a chapter, but reading 1 page. Let it grow naturally from there on the days you have more to give. But treat the tiny version as the actual daily commitment. The one specifically designed to survive your worst, most tired, least motivated day, because that's the day that decides whether the habit survives at all. The hour-long version was never the disciplined one. The 2-minute version was, because it was the only one built to actually survive a bad day.